You're Gillian, soldier. You're
What's
training for sniper school. Ditch
oh
your unnecessary equipment.
just wait until we were ready. Yeah,
No,
forgot that.
need you to be fully dressed. You Chernarushan little boy.
Whoa. Probably didn't even see me coming.
We'll get there with you.
And look, I do have this ready, quick to hand, in my hotkey. Oh wait, hang on. Got too many guns.
Nice, nice. Let's just take that for now and leave it in there. Safekeepings. You know, you don't need too many weapons as a sniper.
Yeah, I'll probably leave the Chaytak here. Bring the SIG as a... Or shall I just bring just my M24?
For the time being, bring the M24, and then we'll move into
Dual
other
weapon.
combat.
Yeah, dual weaponry comes later. Just trying to run before I can walk. Typical Steve. Thinks he can do it all. Just because he's fired a gun before. Forgot my mushrooms. Oh, I'm going to keep my little MP5 actually. It's a nice little secondary
Back up.
weapon. Yeah, yeah.
Well, there's definitely a reason I've been sent here to train you, considering your country is infested with Zeds.
Yep.
So I'm gonna help you.
He's missing something.
It's religious. I'll let him keep it for now.
I'm not
There we
missing
go.
anything.
So yeah, he's Jewish.
Yeah, figures.
From deepest Kazakhstan. A Jewish
A
part.
rare Kazakhstani Jew.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. If you get around the briefing barrel.
It's my gun, don't touch it.
Let's see, what should we go over first?
Can we burn those?
No, we cannot.
Right, I'm gonna teach you about movement first and foremost.
Right.
Okay. So,
backwards, forwards, left, right.
well, that's the basics.
Jump.
Good job.
Yep.
Right, but moving without being spotted, basically. So, the term that's officially used is intervisibility, which essentially boils down to line of sight. So, when you're moving, you know, from point A to point B, we want to break line of sight as much as possible. So, little gullies along rivers, you know, down in valleys. We want to try and keep ourselves as hidden as possible, preferably using geographical features such as, you know, rivers, gullies, ditches, rocks.
Trees.
I'm frozen.
Did you use
And
trees? And barrels.
Trees, barrels. And try not to use grass, because in DayZ, grass doesn't exist to be on 200 meters. It's magic.
Yeah.
You guys have both heard of skylining. Avoid it. And there's a method of movement that's used. It's called the one below method.
Oh.
Right. So you always move one below what you think is acceptable. So if you think that it's okay to sprint through a forest, then you walk or jog.
Mm.
If you think it's okay to walk through a forest, you're crouching. If you think it's okay to crouch, then you're crawling.
Okay.
That is to make sure and to minimize the chance of you being spotted.
That makes sense.
Okay?
That makes perfect sense. Where's Jay gone? Oh, he's that well hidden.
It's in the bush.
Oh.
So when we are moving, whether that be to an objective, away, or anything like that, we've got to be prepared. So we have to think like the enemy. Okay? What would the enemy do, and what would we do if we were the enemy? And if we always think of the worst case scenario,
Shh, Jay.
then
I'm trying to
chances
concentrate.
are we'll avoid it.
Sorry. Can you say that bit again? Jay interrupted.
We've got to think like the enemy, because if we think like the enemy, then us being elite operators, that'll always be the worst case scenario. So we'll be extra safe, and our chances of getting into contact and being seen are drastically lowered. Okay?
Okay. What if the enemy's stupid? Like 80% of our enemies.
Well, then chances are they won't have thought ahead at all. So
Exactly.
either way,
Yeah.
we'll be very successful. So we always try and work backwards when moving. So follow the route you've came in on, unless you've pre-planned something else. And let's use the natural low grounds. So like I said, valleys, little riverbeds, and things like that.
He's walking backwards. Like,
Thought
actually.
you said we have to move backwards. Oh,
And you can do that if you want.
I misunderstood.
This must be a language barrier.
I was watching
It's
my
that
six.
hat. It's covering his ears.
Sorry, I'll take it off.
Yeah, now we'll talk a little bit about navigating.
Cool.
So I know this can be helpful for everything, especially you, Mr. Steve, Cadet Steve. I know you like your map and you like getting lost.
Yeah.
So
Easy
first and
happens.
foremost, you always want to keep north in your mind, and you can use the sun for that. So work out where the sun is in the sky, whether it's in the east or the west or directly above, and try and figure out and keep in mind where north is. If you know where north is, then chances are you're not going to get lost.
It's a good idea.
Pre-planning your routes. So as you travel along your route, tick off features, whether that's buildings like churches or rivers, lakes, crossings. Just in your mind, mentally tick those features off, because if you do end up straying away and having to break your route, and you always come back to those routes, you know which way you're going. So, and always think of backstops is what's referred to as features beyond your target. So you don't overshoot, basically. So say our target is something like, I don't know, VMC, and we're approaching from the south.
Yep.
If you hit northwest, then you know you've gone way too far.
Okay.
That's what's called the backstop.
Backstop. Yeah. Got you.
So the idea of all of these things is basically to reduce your time looking at the map. You want to look at the map as little as possible.
Yeah, they're like
So
control.
if you're looking at the map, you're looking away from what's in front of you. All right.
I see you. Yeah.
And just remember to trust your map, because as much as you may think the map is wrong, the map is never wrong.
Yeah, it's you that's wrong sometimes. Well, not you, but me.
And the last point on that is situational awareness. Never run blind. Always plan ahead and break down your route into legs by using the ticking off the features. Say we're going from the coast up to Vybor. You want to tick off features. So Zeleno could be the first leg, and then the second leg could be to VMC, and the final leg, the third leg could be up to Vybor from VMC.
So can I give you
break
an example?
Break your route down.
Can I give you an example?
Yeah.
I'm going to move to that end Hexaco barrier there.
Okay.
Route one is going to the tent there. I'm gonna have to run across here because it's dangerous. Stops, pauses, has a look on the tree line, at the rocks. Moves across to the UAS, that's the next stop. Moves across to the secondary car. Over the Hexaco. Hard cover. To the final leg.
There you go. Perfect.
Probably didn't
Just
even
do that
see me.
on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
And that's all done in pre-planning. You don't want to do that on the move. You want to do that before you've even started running.
I decided that before I even said to you. I was like, right, the tent, the UL's, the second car, and then the Hexaco. But I did add in the jump over the wall. I wasn't going to do that, but I realised the cover was better. I think. So I should not have done that. Should I have just stuck to the original plan?
No. Well, you did just fine.
Yeah.
If you're in a situation where you think you're in contact, moving cover to cover is perfectly acceptable. Okay, I'll move on to communication. So, key thing to communication is having effective target callouts. And there are two methods that are used when calling out targets. There's the direct method, and there's something called the clock ray method. Okay? Direct method is used in open areas, so open fields, rolling hills, things like that. And the axis, right, that you are going to call on is the bearing of your travel. So say you are heading north, then that means that north is your 1.0. Okay, that's your whole. Then you've got your half. If you say, I don't know, zombie to the half, that means there's a zombie behind you.
Oh,
Think
this
of
is
it like a
confusing.
like a
Start
pie
again.
chart.
Oh, Steve's got incredibly confused. Sorry.
So, right, think of yourself as the center of your circle.
Right,
Okay?
I'm the middle of the circle, yeah?
Yeah, you are the middle of a pie chart.
Everything revolves around Steve.
Right. So, with one line,
Yep.
right, is going straight through the middle of you in your bearing of travel. So say you are heading north.
Right.
That is your front line.
Yep.
Okay.
So
Your half.
like my penis, the line of
Yes.
my penis, like yeah.
Yes. Exactly. Your
Yep.
half.
Yep.
Is behind you, because it's halfway around the circle.
Okay, my full's in front of me, correct?
Yep. And your full is in front.
What is it called, full?
Well, we'll call it front.
Front.
Because, you know,
yeah, front.
that is your
Makes sense.
direction of travel, so it should be your front. Your half is behind you. And then what you've got is you've got quarter left, which is to your left, and quarter right, which is to your right.
Quarter left.
So your direction of travel is your axis. So that is one big long straight line of where you're going.
Yep.
And obviously you've got your quarter left, your quarter right. Okay?
And my half.
And your half. So that is the four main callouts.
Right.
Then for an area with many features, like a town, a city, or a small village, you use the clock ray method,
Yeah.
which is similar to what you're used to using. You know, your 1 o'clocks, 12 o'clocks, 6 o'clocks,
Yeah.
except you place the clock face over a certain feature.
Okay. So you decide that the the watchtower over there is 12 o'clock, and then in relation to that 12 o'clock.
If you come and stand where I am,
Yep.
if you place an imaginary clock face over the UAS,
yep.
If there was an enemy that was on the left of us, you would say that is 9 o'clock of the UAS.
Yeah. Contact 9 o'clock US.
Okay, so that basically, so instead of saying 9 o'clock or what is it, 11 o'clock of my position, say you were somewhere completely different, you would know that that is 9 o'clock of the US, and you would then know. Okay, so you wouldn't have to figure out, oh, where's Jake, like where's 11 o'clock of him, but you'd know it's, you know, in relation to the UAS, it's a feature that we can point out. It's just more direct. It's more.
Yep.
You know, there's less confusion.
I suppose the only confusing thing that unless you state the direction of the UAS, like, as well. So, like, because if I was like over this side, and you gave out that 9 o'clock shout, I'd think he's at your 3 o'clock.
Right. Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if we're together, that method is like solid, but if we're different places, it'd have to be 12 o'clock is the the rear of the UAS or something. I don't know.
I think if we're in different locations, we can call out just using the UAS as a standard of call out. But yeah, if we're sort of from the same direction-ish, we can basically gauge it. Which is the same. Okay, right. Let's move into some combat.
Yeah.
Some combat situations.
Yeah.
So first we'll go over offensive actions, and then next we'll go over defensive actions.
Right.
So your offensive actions. So first of all, there's a priority of targets. Okay. So who are you going to prioritize in a group? Who are you going to shoot first?
Probably this guy.
Well, it's probably right.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
Because I'm doing an offensive action, and he's a vegan.
Because of this.
All right.
You always want to shoot those with a sniper first.
Ah, see. Yeah, got it right.
Because those who have a sniper, they're more likely to return fire and return effective fire. So if you see someone with some sort of rifle with a scope, they're who you want to shoot first.
Take out the biggest threat.
Do you want to take out those with belt-fed weapons or high-capacity magazines?
Oof.
So those with M4s with 60-round mags or AKs with drum mags, they're the next you want to get out. Because they're going to be able to suppress fire really effectively and put you under lots of pressure. Then your last priority is basically those with M4s, SMGs with small capacity magazines with like close range. Okay. So we want to go with scopes, guns with scopes, big scopes, high capacity magazines, and then the rest. That's your priority of fire. Okay. So moving on from the priority list, we got moving targets. So ideally, we want to shoot targets that still, but obviously that's not always the case. So when a target is moving, there is an 80% chance to hit it. Okay. Bearing in mind, you guys are both proficient with snipers.
Oh,
I've seen you hit shots.
I don't know about that.
Well, let's just assume for argument's sake that you are.
Maybe 60% for Steve.
Well, this rule will still apply. So every 100 meters away you are from the target, you minus 10% chance of a hit.
Oh, fuck.
So say you are 400 meters away. For a proficient sniper, that would lower your chances to 40% to hit. For Steve, who has blagged his way through sniper school through arms training, has a 20% chance to hit.
Probably a bit
So
higher.
we'll call it 30 then. I'll say you've got a 70% chance to hit at point blank. How we're going on to where to aim. Obviously, if you're far away, it's very difficult to identify whether your target's got a like a bulletproof vest on or anything. I think my doorbell just rang, so I'll be back in a second.
Right, I'll take over as instructor. It's also known as centre mass. Right. So we want to aim slightly above centre mass. I think anyway. Oh shit. I could be wrong. I'll stop. Any rope on you? Got any rope? We could tie up the instructor, hide, and then snipe him. Show him what we've learned.
You want to get in trouble already?
No, of course not. It's just an idea. It's just throwing it out there.
You're not evil, Steve, yet.
No, I know.
You got a couple hours.
I'm transforming though. I can feel it coming over me. Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Steve.
I'm back. Heard you talking about center of mass. Good.
Yeah.
So that's what you want to do on a moving target. What you want to do on a stationary target
Head top.
is aim for the sniper's triangle.
Heart,
So
chest,
lungs. You draw a triangle between the ears and the base of the neck.
Nice.
That is the sniper's triangle. That is a guaranteed kill if you hit anyone there.
Nice.
So your defensive actions now. Positioning. So you want to put yourself in unlikely positions. This goes back to what we were talking about before, where you would think like the enemy. Where would you not expect a sniper to be? So windows in tall buildings, that's exactly where you'd look for a sniper. But a crack in the wall in a building, that's a murder hole, we call that.
I like that.
That's where you want to be shooting from. Yeah, a crack in the rocks.
Steve's
Give
murdered
yourself...
a few holes in his time.
So murder holes relates to something called loophole shooting.
Ooh.
It's basically, you don't want to sit in the open. Put objects between you and your target. So loophole shooting, I'll provide an example here, is if I was aiming in that direction over there, I could come here, crouch down by this tree, and shoot. But loophole shooting would be putting many objects in my path so that I would be down here. I've got the Hasco, I've got the rocks, I've got the tree. I give myself a very limited field of view, but I'm a lot more cover and I'm a lot harder to see.
That's right.
So you want to try and create that loophole as best you can, and that's how you're gonna keep hidden. You know, it's gonna be harder to identify. So after you have your murder hole, your shooting position, you always want to think of a fallback position. I know me and Steve mentioned this before. Is you have one shooting position, which for us could be at this Hasco wall, but ahead of time we will have pre-panned. If the enemy put pressure, we can fall back and take up another shooting position behind this Hasco wall. Puts a little bit more distance between the enemy and you, and it also gives you a secondary position to fall back to and defend from. Still keeping your eyes on the same position. So that's it for your offensive and defensive actions. And now there's something that I'm sure we've all been in a situation before, called a standoff.
Yeah.
Now, it's not your typical Mexican standoff where you're both shooting or aiming a gun at each other. This could be a very, very one-sided standoff. So in a standoff, your enemy is defeated through range. I briefly mentioned this to Steve before as well. So you want to try and recognize which weapon your enemy has. Does he have a high-powered rifle that is able to kill you at 600 meters? Does he have an M4 which is able to hit you at 400? Or has he got some sort of SMG or low-powered weapon which is only really going to be effective inside 100 meters? Basically, if you're in the dominant position, then, you know, that's good. Say we have these high-powered rifles and you've got enemies in a village, 400 meters away, all armed with submachine guns. If you keep that 400 meters on your terms, you're going to win. You know, you're going to get the kills, they're not going to be able to do much to you. But another important part of this is pre-planning. So you need to follow the 7 Ps. Okay?
It's a lot of peas.
It is a lot of Ps.
A lot of penis. Steve only usually follows 1P, his penis. But
Well,
yeah.
you need to follow these 7 Ps, and the 7 Ps are piss poor planning promotes piss poor performance.
I knew that already.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. You gotta follow those 7 Ps. Not to a
Piss
T,
poor
to a
planning.
P. Piss poor planning promotes piss poor performance. Good. You better remember that for everything, not just sniping. You always pre-plan.
Yeah. We use that in the kitchens. That's when Steve was a chef.
Nice. So, what happens if we're on the wrong side of a standoff? Say I'm stuck out with a pistol. There is a sniper over on those rocks, 400 meters away. What do I do in this situation? Well, say I'm in cover here. I need to close the distance.
Flank.
Keep in cover, but close the distance as much as you can. Put pressure on. Okay? Suppressing fire if you need to. Keep firing rounds at the sniper and at his position. But keep pushing forward. You don't want to get pinned down.
It's all about control.
It's So ideally, you want to close him, you want to put pressure on him until he runs off. Ideally, the sniper will back off if you put enough pressure on him, if he's a sensible sniper. If not, you'll be locked in a close range engagement, but hopefully, you'll outdo him, because you're trained and you're good. So, let's move on to what happens if you are pinned down. Say we're walking through this forest, sniper shot comes in from the front, it lands low. We run behind cover, and we're behind this rock here. What do we do? Well, first, we want to try and get some observation. There's an acronym we want to use, it's called OFM. Observation, fire, and a movement. We want to try and see where the shot came from, any potential positions, or if we can see the sniper itself. You know, never pop out from the same side, always keep the sniper guessing. Otherwise you're just going to be an easy target, he's going to wait for you to move. The next... Uh-oh. Stay hidden. Sniper.
Where?
What's up, Klaus?
Where's the sniper? Oh. It could come from anywhere.
It could have indeed.
I'm watching a half.
Nice.
See, I do listen.
Someone needs to watch the quarter, right?
I got a quarter. Well, we don't. What's the? I don't know what his. Okay, he's got the half that way.
Backwards the half, and then we got the quarter right, which is over there, and the quarter left,
That way.
which is up there.
That way.
Then there's
And
the front.
And if we're in a group of 4 of us, we should just assign a quarter to take or a half to take.
Mhm.
Like whenever
So
we
whoever
stop
knows the
somewhere.
route can be the route leader
Yeah,
and take the front.
point.
Then you've got cover on the half left, half right, and the half. Oh, sorry, the quarter left, quarter right, and half.
I like it.
And you've each got to cover 180 degrees. So even if you're overlapping, you're double checking the guy next to you, just in case.
What about if there's 2 of us advancing on a target? Could we employ the pepper pot movement?
Well, then in that case, one of you covers the half, 180 degrees, and then the route leader covers the front, 180. So then you've still got a 360 coverage. So it doesn't mean you have to walk backwards, it just means that you're walking forwards, and you occasionally just scan the terrain behind you. Obviously, walking backwards is pretty slow.
Signs of an enemy here. It's been a rock.
Right. Klaus, how you doing?
Yo. I'm just brainstorming the stuff we need to pick up.
We've gone through
Okay.
phase 1 of sniper training. Feel like
Taking
we're
these
in the
guys through a
forces
little
now.
bit of sniper training,
We-
and then eventually we'll take you through it.
Watching
On
a
your own,
half.
you get special treatment. Right, so situation, there's a sniper in front, and he's fired low, hasn't managed to hit us, okay?
Shit.
So we're in cover, and we've done our observation. We can't see him. So what do we do next? Well, we start firing in a general direction of where the sniper could be. Yeah? Suppressive fire.
Think
Then
he's
either
behind
that's
those
gonna either
rocks.
that will either force the sniper to fire again, giving us a second chance to look, or it's gonna make him back off.
Oh. He shot us.
So if the fire doesn't work, you basically this is your last resort here, is movement. Basically say goodbye to yourself and your friends, and you run. From cover to cover. Zigzagging as you go. And basically what that will do is potentially draw out a sniper shot. This is what we did on the second raid of Hippo. When we sent Saxon, Leveler, and Tex out the front door. This is the movement. Basically, it's try and draw out a shot from the sniper, and then get another read on where they are. If we come back to the original rock, a tactic that is pretty effective is you send a couple out to run, third one stays, and aims down the scope. has a look for where the sniper is, and if he sees a muzzle flash or the sniper, that's when he shoots and takes them out before they even get a chance. Okay?
Sniper, 50 meters ahead of the rock, 12 o'clock.
There you go. That is your
That was a good call
counter
out.
sniping guide.
That was a
So
good
if we're
call
ever
out.
pinned down by a sniper, then that is what you need to do. Doesn't even have to be in a forest. It could be in a city, in buildings. It's easy when there's three of you, but even if you're on your own, that's what you have to do.
Yep. Okay.
Just make sure to be light on your toes when you're doing your observation, because they can be watching all sides of the rocks.
Would you
If you
recommend
have
a
to,
wiggle movement? Could you wiggle? Like, give them
you
the
can
illusion
wiggle.
you're friendly and keep your head moving?
Yeah. Obviously, if you're dressed up in a ghillie with a sniper in your hand, I don't think they're going to think that. But if you are dressed up in a ghillie, give them a little bit of shoulder. Give them a bit of a bush on this right-hand side of the rock, and then use the left side to peek out and come back in.
Okay, nice. Nice tactics.
Use that bush on your right. Then that will change their focus to the right side of the rock. Then you look to the left, and you get half a second to look, if that. Because if you're too slow, then you're dead. Okay? Now, what I want you guys to do is I'm going to turn my markers off. I'm going to turn around. I want you to go and hide. In that tree, over there. But I don't want behind solid cover. I want you soft cover.
Okay.
So you can't sit behind a rock. I want you to blend in. Use the environment.
Okay.
I'll turn around and get up on this rock. You got 30 seconds. Ready?
Yeah.
Go.
Oh shit, where are you gonna hide?